And it's a way to arrange your entire literacy block. You know how you have centers, you have to arrange that, you have all the guided reading groups. Well, you have that, but it's an easier and smarter way to have your block and cover everything that you need to cover. It helps the children. Your goal is to help the children become independent learners with meaningful activities, and that's all the rigor and everything we're supposed to be doing for our 21st century learners. Teachers strive to work with uninterrupted small groups and individuals because the children are trained and it becomes a habit with them. And, okay, the other sheet. We have the daily 5, read to yourself, and this is in the handout on the back of your.
This is what each kid gets, it's one of these sheets, when you tell them to remember the daily 5,
Well, it's all scripted, it's all in the book. You have to read the book. It tells you exactly where you introduce one at a time, and everyone's going to go through and I'll break it out. Read to yourself, read to someone, work on writing, listen to reading, spelling, and word work. And that covers everything you're supposed to cover in your literacy block. It's just an easier way to approach it, which is really, it's great. And then we have the next page is what sets the daily 5 apart from other management models. And you read these, it relies on teaching of independence, manage the entire literacy block. You have 3 to 5 focus lessons and more intentional teaching and so on. So you can just read through that. And then the last one, I don't think you have that one put up. This is on the back of your packet. And it starts over here, and I tried to lighten it up. This is the best I can do. Of course, you can't see here. You might be, I think you can read it on here, but this is in the book. And it really scripts it out about how you have a focus lesson, then you break up into the small groups. The kids make a choice in the daily 5 they're supposed to do. Then you go back into a focus lesson. It's just wonderful. And it said this book is not a prescription for literacy success. It's about developing shared awareness and instructional routines with students through specific focused teaching while balancing student needs for choice and independence. And this is what the daily 5 is all about. And this is the way our 21st century learners, that's what we want them to be, independent learners. And then it just goes on. So we have it broken down, and we're going to let Mrs. Boudreau begin.
I did the chapter on read to self, and the book actually scripts out the lessons for you. It makes it very easy for you to understand how to do it. Do you have the one that's I have this poster in my classroom. If you want to stop by and take a look at it, it's delightful. But this is it right here. And basically what it is, and because I've got this poster up in my classroom, when a child comes to me with a book that's a 4.2 reading level or a 1.5 reading level, I can ask them, did you go through the IPIC process? They look on the wall, and they can say to me, no. So then we go back and say, why did you pick this book? And basically, we've gotten to the point where we go down to the last 2 now. Am I able to understand what I'm reading, and do I know most of the words? Because they've gone through and said, why did I pick this book? And we do this repeatedly. But there's actually a lesson on this. And in the classroom, when we did the lesson, we had children trade shoes. And we found that one child's shoe did not fit the other child, even though they were in the same classroom. And that's a lesson on how some books fit you and some books don't fit you. This really does give you the actual way to instruct and do the 3 focused lessons. And I'm just going to very quickly just tell you, on the focused lessons, well, first of all, you got to create a comfortable space around the room for them to read. Let them have really cool places. Let them just sit in a rolly chair. Let them sit in your chair. It's nice, they enjoy it, and it kind of gets them focused. I've got this really cool high heel chair in my room, and they like sitting in that. But what you do is you brainstorm reasons why we read to ourselves, create iMessages. I read to myself because I like books. I read to myself because my teacher tells me to. Post those things on the wall. Brainstorm reasons why, brainstorm reasons what you look like when you're reading. Well, when I read, I'm sitting right next to Mrs. Herman, and even though she's talking, I'm not disturbed because I'm focusing on my book. I'm sitting right next to Miss Smith, and we're reading the same book. That's what I look like when I'm reading. And then brainstorm what the teacher is doing, and post all of these things. Brainstorm what the teacher is doing. Let the children say, well, what would the teacher be doing while I'm doing this? And post these things. And those are just the little reminders that you get during the course of the time when it is personal reading time. We have a great success with personal reading in my classroom now, which I think is kind of cool because, you know, I'm like a first-year, second-grade teacher. And, and you know, it was a lot of learning for me this year. But, so you do that, and here's my final thing, because I know we're running time short. It says, whenever an activity fails, it is because I haven't done enough modeling. And I think that's very true, because when you want to get into this new program, and here we are, third 9 weeks, and we're talking to you about this great, wonderful program, and you're like, okay, let's get into it. Okay, this is how you do it, now do it. But you got to really model it. You got to just keep on going over and over it. And we've done that thing with the shoe. I've got this big old boot that sits on a shelf in my classroom, and it's a reminder to the children, pick something that fits you. I now have children that will come up to me, and Kiesia came up to me the other day, and she goes, I went to the library, and I just sat down, and I looked at the book, and I looked at those words. Miss Boudreau, this book fits me. I was like, yeah, that's very cool. So there it is. Next.
Well, actually, because a lot of this was geared to the primary classes, we decided to put our little twist on it and go 4th, 5th grade. So, as Ms. Boudreau stated, she said that it's great to create a space. So we created a space and we called it the Cafe, serving up good books daily. And, of course, with every special ed teacher, you need an acronym. So, CAFE stands for Comprehension, Accuracy, Fluency, and Expanding Vocabulary. And one way that we created space is we were able to go to, can I say this? A flea market? And we were able to purchase some things inexpensively to create some space. And here are some pictures of the room.
No question. This is, it's kind of dark, but we got these chairs for like $3.25 a piece, you know, and they roll and they rock, and a bench right here and with another pillow. We went to 2 places and put everything together, and the kids' mindset is totally different going in there. And we talked about stamina. These kids, we went the first time, and one thing I didn't agree with the book at first, I was like, it said, you know, don't praise the kids if they do a good job, don't say anything, that just expect it. And I was like, I'm not going to do that, because they need to know they're doing a good job. And we didn't praise them the first time, and they did what they were supposed to. And then at the end we were like, that's what it's supposed to look like, and you do those posters to also remind them of that. So here's another one of our listening centers that we put together, thanks to Miss Hunter's table that she let us borrow. And we even had listening center for the older grades. It was kind of neat because they're listening to younger books, but they're finding things that we can adapt. This is a word study where they're formulating words.
And with the word study, what we've asked them to do during their soft reading is to pick words out that are new to them. So we thought it would be neat if we just build a book together with new words. And so this book, actually, they're building words just by, they all add new words that they find during their reading time, and they put it in here. They also put a definition in here too, so that later on when we present this as a word table, they could go in and we'll say, you know, pick out some new words that the other kids don't know and make up a story or write a paragraph or something. So this is something that's an ongoing thing for building words.
Yeah, and even taking that a little bit further with her word study with the books, we generated a class. Everything is teacher guided, and the students are the ones that do all the work. You just facilitate and let them do everything. And they came up with adjective words, they came up with adverbs. We keep this up in that area, and they can use it for writing. I have this one boy who's taken off with it, and he just wants to show us every day how many more adverbs he has. And so far he has 102. And he's taken them out of his pleasure reading book, out of whenever we're reading something in the whole group. So it's really neat, and it's just, it's a lot easier for the teacher to let the students do it. So it's pretty neat. That's it.